Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Cardboard. My name is Corey, joined here again by John. And on today's episode, we take a look at a small card game called Point Salad. It's a 2 to 6 player game, plays in about 15 to 30 minutes. Definitely on the lighter scale for complexity. The publisher, Alderac Entertainment Group, and designers Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Steinwick. So with that being said, John, if you want to take it away with how the game is played.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple card game. Really, all you're doing is setting out this grid of 6 cards with a pile of vegetables, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, everything's a vegetable, and the top row of these cards that are set out is basically the reverse side of one of the vegetables, which you can see in the upper left and bottom right corners. But basically, the reverse side is a way you score endgame points, and on the other side you have one of the vegetables. And what you're trying to do is you can take either 2 vegetables from the field below, or you can take one of the point cards and set them into your play zone. And then you just keep doing this really until the end of the game, and then you just score points based on the point cards you had taken and nothing else. I mean, there's no shared objectives. You might get point cards that are similar. That's it. Taking vegetables and trying to line them up to your points cards.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well said with that. So you've got different combinations on the points with, you might need lettuce and onion, or for every combination of lettuce and onion you have, you might get points. There might be some, if you have the most carrots or the least carrots by the end of the game, you get points, and so forth. So different things like that. I guess getting right into pros, what I really like about this game is it's kind of that, not really a race, but it's kind of like pick and choose when you're taking the points versus the vegetables, because when you take that point card, you're really reducing the amount of overall cards you're getting. So it's almost a lesser play on your part, but not necessarily, because the points obviously is how you win the game. I think what could be a lesser move is that at any time, anyone's turn during the game, you can flip a point card over to the other side to turn it into a vegetable. So you're almost kind of killing that earlier decision to grab that point card at that point. But at least there's a little bit of flexibility with that. That's my first big pro, is just kind of deciding when you're picking that point card to maybe test your luck on how well you can do getting those points versus taking the vegetables.
Right, and I would definitely agree with that. I mean, there is a balance you have to find, because obviously you can't get any points without taking point cards, but you might also end up getting something where maybe, although there's an equal number of each vegetable, and maybe early on all that lettuce went, and now you have a lettuce point card that's no good. But like Corey was saying, you have that option to flip that point card over to another vegetable, which maybe it will help you. And I think for me, that's the coolest part about this game, is that you're really creating your own win condition, I guess, by taking the point cards that you think are going to benefit you most. And yeah, there might be some overlap, and there's also some risk reward with some of the cards have 2 points for every onion you have, but if you get a carrot, that's -3 or something crazy like that. So you're really trying to find that perfect balance of your positive and negative points, which I think is really cool.
And kind of on the flip side of that too, being able to flip your point card over to the other side, like we were just talking about, could be a good thing too if, let's say, your opponents are running you into negative points.
Right.
If they're picking all of one vegetable, and then you're left with only 1 or 2 options, and it just so happens that those 1 or 2 options give you negative points, well, then you can just go ahead and flip that negative point card over to the other side.
Yep.
So it's kind of a little cop-out thing too, which is really cool. But another cool pro for me is it's a very simple setup, very simple teach. It's just one of those that you can just pull out, create a stack of cards, shuffle them up, and you're good to go. One of those style games.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely good as either another type of filler game, or a very simple party game when you've got 6 people over and you're not quite sure what to play. So
that's true.
Throw out point salad and run with it.
Yeah. That's something that's not really talked about a ton, is player count. Going up to 6 players, there is that every so often you have 5 or 6 players that sit down at the table for game night, and you're looking for that perfect game to pull out. And this is one that plays smoothly, plays just as fast at all player counts.
Yep, and it's something simple enough that if you do have some people over that aren't like big time board gamers, this is gonna be something they actually probably would get into without too much thought. So, like, I really got to hit on the simplicity of this game again. I think the cards look awesome, but are simple. Just everything about this game is like, I don't know, really minimalist, but really fits what they're trying to go for, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and to touch on that too, it's not only simple, but there's a ton of variability in the game that I
Right,
love because you're taking a set number of each vegetable depending on the player count before the game begins. Every single one of the cards have a different point value on their back. So
right,
you're shuffling them up and just randomly taking a certain set number of cards, and you're never using the full amount of each vegetable for each game. So not only are the point cards going to be random for each game that you play, but they're going to come to the top of the stack randomly too.
right, right,
Not only come to the stack at the top randomly, also, but if you take vegetable cards out of like the field, those are also going to kill those point cards because you're
right,
turning them
right.
over to refill the field. So there's so much variability to this game.
Yeah, and I think the best part about that variability is like there's tons of variability, but it doesn't add like extra complexity to the game. It's just what it is. It's just this card does something different than this card, but it's super straightforward.
Definitely one that I've taught to a lot of non-gamers, and they have enjoyed it.
Right. Yep.
So, getting into the cons a little bit, I guess a con for me, not for everybody, is I'm not the biggest fan of filler games because I feel like that's all they are. This one is definitely it definitely brings the ball though, brings it to the top, cream of the crop for fillers though, in my opinion. But that is a slight con for me, one that it won't make it to every game night.
Right.
So any cons for you?
You know, I really struggle to find something for this game because, like I said, I just enjoy the simplicity of this thing, and there's really like everything's well thought out, and there's really no like gaping holes. It's just if you're looking for something more complex, I guess, or more of a centerpiece game for the night, this isn't going to be it. But I think it does what it is kind of created to do well, and I don't
Right.
really have any cons that I can think of that really put this in a bad spot. So
Me either. Yeah, it's very hard to think of them. So I guess kind of getting into teachability and complexity, we've already talked about how simple this game is. John just did a teach all within 60 seconds.
right.
And that's pretty much the majority of the game, so the teach is very simple. So I guess the buy or the try before you buy, the price point is right at $15. John, what do you think?
I think again, if you plan on playing any party games with people ever, like it for $15, this is a great buy. Like it's just a good solid game that's easy to teach, easy to play,
Yeah.
and pick up, put down, whatever. I mean, super good.
Definitely. I agree. It's an easy buy for $15. There's a
Yeah.
lot worse things you can buy for $15 out there. Not only outside of the gaming world, but game wise, this is definitely worth your money. Getting into our ratings overall, 1 through 10. I guess we'll start with me. Okay, it was kind of hard for me to place a point or a rating on this game, 1 through 10, because like I said, it kind of in my cons, it is just that filler style game. But because of the amounts of different people, gamers and non-gamers, I've been able to teach this game to and play this game to, everybody's enjoyed it. I've had a great time every time playing it. I would have to give this game a 9 out of 10 for me. I really can't see it being much higher or doing much better of a job than what it's already set out to do. Just so much variability. It's going to be different every time, not only with the cards that are coming out, but with the decisions that your opponents are making. So I really think a 9 out of 10 is a great spot for me.
You really surprised me there with a 9 out of 10, but you kind of read my mind the same way.
Yeah.
If you take this as what it is, as a party / beginner / filler game for a game night, yes, I would agree. This is definitely probably a 9 out of 10. Now, granted, usually a 9 means this is something you're going to bring to game night every weekend or something like that. I probably wouldn't say that's the case, but I think the way it's designed, the way it plays out, the simplicity of it just makes this a really, really solid game when you're looking for something for a specific type of board game night with like beginners or a high
Yep.
player count. So
And I really wavered back and forth on that. I was like, is it fair to judge a game just based on the genre or the
right.
type of game it is versus the overall spectrum of games that are out there? But I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like taking a rating for what a game is or what it does so well versus like an overall rating. I guess that's why I gave it a 9 out of 10 is because I kind of do my overall ratings like that, like it's its own thing in this
Right.
world of games. But I guess you could take it a different way too.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Like I said, if we were going strictly off the Board Game Geek ratings, like, is this a game you'll play every weekend? No, but I do agree with you. This is just a game that was made really solidly to do what it does, and I think that deserves a high rating.
Yeah, and I was paying close attention to the Board Game Geek too. So 9 out of 10, it says excellent, very much enjoy playing. I
Right.
guess that's kind
Yeah.
of the over. That's how I feel.
Yep. Yeah.
It's excellent, and I enjoy playing it very much.
And you'd
So
suggest it, I suppose, if the timing was
yeah,
right. So
definitely. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for today's review of Point Salad. If this sounds interesting to you, definitely go seek it out for that low price point. It's definitely worth your money, and we highly suggest it. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And as always, please consider subscribing to the channel. Definitely appreciate that as well.
don't
Yeah,
forget to leave comments below if you have any gaming, anything you want to say. I mean, we like talking to people. Don't get to do it
yeah,
much, but yeah, leave a comment. We'll get back to you.
that does it. See you all later.